focused, 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 focused. Just stay focused, just stay focused.
Been waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reasons. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know, some are no longer reason, still holding no grieving. And striving to get to a place where they see that we overachieving. Holding no secrets, giving to all of my peeps in the gutter who struggle for decent.
So we're back again with our reading on the 50th law. 3 generations speak about the different inputs of what we got from these chapters. So I am royalty.
My Michelle Dion.
And I am Dre. Dre LaVere is what they
I'm from Generation X.
Generation Y, aka Millennials.
And Generation Z, aka the best generation.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So let's see.
We see who the liar out this group is.
Might as well make it funny.
Okay. I got all these highlights. Hope I did the highlights this time. I didn't do the pen. I hope I can see my highlights. So we're on chapter 2, making everything your own, self-reliant. That's what it is, based on self-reliance. So when I read the title before even going into the book, I thought about, okay, when I read this title, I'm believing he's talking about how to know how to do for self, how to take on personal responsibilities. When I read the opening, that title of chapter 2, and it says the Hustler's Empire. So coming here, he did a quote from Frederick Douglass. It said, human nature is so, I need my glasses. Human nature is so conceited that it cannot honor a helpless man, although it can pity him, and even this cannot do long if the signs of power do not arise. So looking at a person not taking that quote right there from Frederick Douglass, looking at people always being woe is me and helpless and with their hands out. People get tired of people with their hands out. So what can you do to have personal responsibility in order to move forward with your life, period? So what can you do? That's what I'm looking at. What can you do? Is that what you all got out of that?
Yeah, basically, kind of like basically nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Like kind of like what you had told us, like when we was little, like nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Gotta work twice as hard to get half the results, and basically you just take it on as a challenge, like to a point where you can't be denied of what you want or what you're trying to obtain. And yeah, basically like nobody gonna feel sorry for you, like especially being a black man in America. Everybody gonna get, well, I did it myself, why can't you?
Right.
Even though we know about different obstacles that we gotta obtain, you still can't have no excuses, or or just learn how to fight them and do for yourself while you're doing it.
And I look at that when I read, because this also goes into the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When reading that book, one of the parts of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is being dependent first, then independent, and then interdependent. So, and you cannot be interdependent until you have people who are independent. So having a dependent person, there's the being interdependent, and everybody must have an independent type of mindset already. So that third level, the third evolution of working together as a team, even though it's still self-reliant, but I'm bringing something to the table. Like, what are you bringing to the table? That's all I tell. What are you bringing to the table? You're not bringing to a table in any type of relationship while you're in a relationship, because then you're going to be a strain on someone else. And no one's, I don't want to have anybody always dependent on me.
Right. And it's kind of like, I don't want it to be like a keeping it real goes wrong moment where like when people think that they saying like you can't get help, you know, like I think it was one point in here, I forgot the exact quote or anything, but it's basically saying that humans naturally, if they do something for you, they have some type of bind on you, or they at least expect something in return. And me myself, I was like, I do things out of my heart, like I don't be wanting nothing in return. But then I thought about it, like, like I probably don't want you to do that same act on me, or I don't want no money or anything, but I would want like your loyalty, or I would expect like in the future, like because I helped you out, not that you will like find it in your heart to do something for me as well. So I guess like even I guess it's just human nature. Like when you do something for somebody, you really like. Even some people like go feed the homeless and they like take pictures of them. Like you're doing it for the homeless, but you're still making yourself feel better at the end as well. It's still some type of selfishness aspect of it as well.
Right, I agree with that part. And like what I've learned, when I end up helping somebody, I'm not looking for anything in return.
That even though like it's human nature to automatically want something in return. So like when you own your own stuff, like then you actually get to like you have that power over things like for example your job or something. Like if your boss wants you to do something, you have to do it. Like you basically, I'm not saying you in a hopeless place, but you really don't have any control over what goes on. Like it's kind of like if you're dependent on someone and they basically have control over you, basically.
Right,
So whether like if you're at a job or if you're in a relationship or even like a friendship where someone's like taking care of everything, and then like you basically under their thumb and kind of like need them. And I know it kind of like brought it back to like when we're babies or a toddler, you're kind of dependent on your parents,
right,
and that kind of like you need them, and at that point you really can't do anything for yourself, so you kind of like gotta be dependent on them. And then it said then usually in your adolescent years, when you rebel and try to prove your independence, which is probably a little premature because you think you're grown but you're not grown yet, kind of thing. But it's probably like the kind of right mindset. But then when you get older, like past the adolescent stage, you kind of fall back into that child place where you want, I think in your mind, since you want security so much, you kind of get scared
I remember,
of being
right,
independent.
I remember that part of the book, and I was like, well, am I like that? I mean, I like being grown. I like once I became grown, even though it's the hardship of um, getting things done and me having to pay certain things. I actually liked being grown. I always said, I don't know, and then people say, I was like, I pay the cost to be the boss. And I like having
I
that.
heard that all the time.
That's it. I pay the cost to be the boss. So I like when I got, yes, I had hard times, had to figure out how to get things done, I had hard times paying bills, had hard time getting food and stuff like that, and all those things. But I still like getting my hustle on. I like getting my hustle on. I like working. I don't say when you get inside the older age, you want that security. But I guess if you have a mate that has the security, because I have a mate who has the security, so I can still do what I want to do on the entrepreneurship side. I don't have to go get a job for benefits because he has the benefits and things like that. So I'm okay on that part. I don't have to worry about balancing those two out.
Like, like for the most part, like one thing that I really think, like how off of what Dre said, like going from the adolescent stage and thinking you're grown, you're younger, and wanting to be independent. As you're in a workplace, a working environment for a lot of jobs, you're hired to do the specific job. And the moment you try to do anything else or reach out, you're stopped because I feel that they know that the more you learn, now that's just an extra competitor. So a lot of them want to keep you dependent. They want to keep you scared. That's why a lot of people feel like a lot of jobs treat their employers like they're kindergarten students or daycare, and they're watching after them and on their back. It's all a mind thing, and they keep you dependent. You always have control. I like to look at it like you control your money flow, because you control what job you want to apply for and what job you want to quit. Other than thinking, oh, I need this job. Every action is a reaction regardless, but you have to pre-plan for those things. And this is something I get out of part of the book. I really firmly believe that.
Yeah, I know it was one part where it was talking about even when you at your job, you could try taking on more responsibilities and to try to think of it as not for the money aspect, but the more responsibilities that you get, so you can like learn certain things. I know it was kind of like saying like do it on the slick too, because you don't you don't want them to know like, oh, you trying to just take all this information and run with it. In fact, I know like a lot of companies like they have you whatever you do in there as part of your creative process and your ideas, it belongs to them.
Right.
Like even with 50 Cent or whatever, like he said, like after he got out of jail and got dropped by his label, after he got shot and everything, then he came back and that's when he found out like everybody playing for keeps, everybody trying to do what they want to do on their own. So he was being a bagger, and then he was back in the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting a certain amount a day, I got to find a way to get out of here because I don't have control. So then when he finally he like finessed his way out that situation to make himself his own boss. It was kind of devious what he did, but
Right.
I mean, I guess
But
you got to get it how you get it.
if you going to
So
work for a job, if you want to be an entrepreneur or you're moving toward an entrepreneur, you should have an exit plan. If people get stuck inside of dead end jobs because there's no exit plan.
right, and you become like 100% dependent on it. So even when he said he had signed with Interscope with Eminem, like in your head you probably think like, oh, I made it, but then he realized like they go give you the money and a lot of amenities, but like they control what you do, when you put it out, who you work with, what type of content you put out. So he was like, yeah, like he was basically a glorified bagger,
Right.
in all essence, because you still don't have power. So he basically just used his time there to actually learn from the execs, that learn from Dr. Dre, learn from Eminem, and learn from different places. He have an exit strategy to have his own on the side and able to become his own boss. So like a lot of times when you at a place, like if you there for just the money, then you're always going to be dependent on that, because you're always going to want to go and get that stability check to keep it coming, instead of trying to learn from the experiences and exactly what can actually excel you, like in running your own company.
I'm a believer that happiness and knowledge will always create success. So it's like if you're there just for the money, you're gonna end up being miserable at one point because you're not gonna like what you're doing. You feel like you gotta be there, but then you develop that knowledge, find what makes you happy, and keep pushing. Then you can forever be happy and be successful.
On page 55, it says you come to respect your own ideas less and less, as if you're saying, listening to experts, conforming to conventional options without realizing you're squandering your independence, everything that makes you a creative individual. That's what you just said. So you have to understand how to make sure you still keeping who you are when you're moving forward. And remember what I like. What do you want to do when you grow up? So after a certain age, a lot of people forget about what they want to do. But I think after people retire, I don't know if anybody's going to listen to hear that's the older people. Once they retire, do you go back to, if you end up losing your independence and working for a job, and once you end up retiring from a job, do you go back to start following your dreams again? So are your dreams really delayed?
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like somebody well, everybody at some point got to get some type of job.
Right.
I mean, unless you was like I guess when me and JP now was like 13, 14, you had us saying selling candy and stuff, but like I wasn't gonna make a career out of selling candy though, you know.
Right.
Like eventually, like, that's why I went to school, got a degree, and actually got a job, which should be like your backup plan. So if anything does happen, or if you do have to like finally go back to work for a little bit, like at least like starts doing something.
And
But I
you,
know like a
go ahead.
I know like another point I had got from is like I guess like since everybody I guess is kind of expecting something back from somebody when they do something for somebody. Like if you make it your own and you are self-reliant, like you won't be disappointed in it. Like you kind of expect people to basically playing for keeps. Like everybody out for themselves, even if they're on your team, like there's still some self-interest in it. Like I'm working with you for a reason. I'm trying to move ahead as well, you know. So you surround yourself like with people who are trying to move in the same direction as you. So it's still selfless, but it's still selfish in a way as well, which is not a bad thing at all. Like, ain't a bad thing to be selfish at times.
Yeah, I mean, I redefine the word selfish. I mean, you doing for self to make sure you okay so you can help somebody else out. Because if you're not um, making sure you can take care of yourself, how can you do for anybody else? So you need to put yourself first. That's how I look at it. So a lot of people, oh, you're selfish. Yes, I am. I'm making sure I'm okay first. And then if I'm okay, even like when you go on an airplane, and they say if the oxygen mask drop down, you're
But
gonna
put
make
yours
you give
first.
yourself oxygen first, and then you give the child oxygen.
Selfishness is pretty much needed. I think what people don't understand once you become independent and doing things like entrepreneurship is
We
that
got
you
one
really
person who's gonna join us next time. Lynetta Cooper. We're gonna send her the link. She's gonna join us next time.
Okay. So she read chapter 3.
She says she got the book, so read chapter 3, Glennetta. We'll be doing chapter 3 next.
but like one thing that I feel is that once you start being an owner of a company, it's really backwards. It's forward, but it's backwards. When you really think about it, you have to be selfish because you're an owner now. You've lost all control.
Right.
Like how you said earlier,
Well,
you still work for someone, but you work for everybody. If the consumer stops buying from you, you're no longer employed. Like you're now what keeps you up. So you have to be selfish and have to push to make sure that you always stay on top.
but at
Huh.
the same time, go ahead. In the book, it said, like you said, it happens like that. But then it gives you different steps that you need to do. The steps that you need to do. Like step one, reclaim your dead time while you're at work and everything. Understand, like you had said before, Dre, look at certain things that will end up benefiting you in the long term.
All right.
When you go into somebody always say you're going into a career, not a job. So if it's a career, it's skills that you can end up moving on to the next location or even building from for your own business as well. Your career is more of understanding software developing. What is she doing? And I keep royalty is good at customer service and social media and things like that, regardless of where we go. So reclaiming your dead space. That's step one. So we're gonna go through these steps. We almost done. So what you all think about step one?
Reclaim your dead space. I mean, I feel like you should never have time to where you're just not doing something productive. Like there should be something that you're doing that's productive. If you're sitting down thinking, "What am I doing?" then maybe you should get up and do something. Like,
And you're learning on the job. That's why I tell people like learn to benefit you, but you still giving the person you're working for what they need, but you still also learn to make it a win-win situation.
and then from an employer, you can just take what they taught you and what you learned there while you're there, and try to find a way to make it better. Try to go home. How can I do this better? How can I build onto it?
Right, right. Because I also did that when I was taking my some undergrad classes, and I always used to say, when I never thought I was going to be a teacher, so I did not say I was going to be a professor, but when I was, I guess, somewhere when I was taking classes, I was like, if I was ever a professor, this is how I would teach my class. This is how I would interact with my students. So I always remember that type of thing as well. Step two, what does it say you are?
I guess the main thing I highlighted, I guess the only thing I highlighted on this section is keep in mind the following: what you really value in life, ownership. It's ownership, not money.
Right. That's what and I did
So,
that one too.
so basically, like, it's ever between a choice between money or responsibility. Choose responsibility.
Right. That's
Because
what I highlighted.
you could really do anything for money, but if you there like learning on the job as well and getting, like, say for instance, I'm an intern somewhere and I don't know, they shooting a video or something. Say for instance, I'm with Rick shooting a video or something. He got me holding the camera. You know what I mean? Like, I'm probably gonna want to see, like, okay, what's the next steps after this? How's you actually shooting this video? How could I do it? What kind of camera is this? And like try to at least get some information from it. That's gonna be way more than the $150, $200 that he paying me to do what I'm actually doing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like actually getting. Yeah, I threw you in there.
I ain't paying you 200.
He said he ain't paying me 200.
Well, I would end up looking at that's why vocational training is good too. You're bringing somebody in to learn certain things from you, as you paying them that, but also and on internship. Because I believe in paid internship. I don't think you should have interns that don't get paid. I think people you still go. It might not be a lot, but a person should still get paid, but they're still learning skills. So step three, move higher. This one was good. Move higher on the food chain.
Yeah, like I guess another thing, I guess I was talking about this earlier. One part I highlighted was you must remember that when people give you things or do favors, it's always with strings attached. They want something from you in return, assistance, unquestioned loyalty, and so forth. So like that's what I was saying. Like when I was saying I'm like, not me. I do things out of heart, but like I expect you to be loyal. You know what I mean? Like something that in return.
Most thing for reciprocation.
Yeah, reciprocation.
Like there's part of the book that I underlined when it was like talking about like you get allies or whatnot, and they'll eventually turn against you at some point or use you as a cat's paw.
I'm at the third step, moving up the food chain.
We said moving up, yeah. So that's in the first. Okay.
So it's like it's on page 65, and then another part that I underlined that went along with it was that
And I see you.
it's called because of that of you knowing that what human nature people are gonna naturally want something in return, either it's loyalty, either it's physical, either it's collateral.
Right.
Just make sure you're clear in what function they serve for you.
Right. Exactly.
And know how to free yourself from them.
Keep yourself free of unnecessary entanglements and alliances. And if you cannot avoid having partners, make sure that they're clear of what functions they serve for you. Step 4, make your enterprise a reflection of your individuality. I ain't highlight anything on this one, so what y'all?
The only thing I highlighted was it was like understand you are one of a kind. Your character traits are a kind of chemical mix that will never be repeated in history. There are ideas unique to you and specify rhythm and perspective that are your strengths, not your weaknesses. So basically, nobody is exactly the same. Right. So even if you replicate what somebody do, like say for instance, like I know somebody who a real estate agent or something, and I see how they getting down and how they doing it, that don't actually mean that I'm doing it the exact same way. Like you can't do it the same way, but you gotta kind of make it your own.
Right.
So like even like playing basketball, I'm pretty sure like LeBron looked up to Magic Johnson, he looked up to Michael Jordan, but he still got his own game. I guess Kobe the only one that kind of like all the way did it. Like, and a lot of times, I think I forgot what business we was working on, Mama, but they like if you like for one, like if say if you go to Facebook or something, you be like, I got the job. You get like 230,000 likes.
Yep.
You be like, I started my own business. You're 18 likes. You know, like so it's like a different thing, whatever.
It has it flipped since COVID.
And the thing about it is like a lot of people that's around you or your family and your close friends, like they love you, but they don't respect you. So if you get to the point where you starting your own business, they done seen you when you're vulnerable points. They done seen you when you was messing around, and they see what you do in your spare time. Like, so yeah, thinking you ain't serious with it or can actually move forward with it.
I'm in the channel.
But that's like the whole thing, because even like because if you go to like your boss stuff right now, they all like this at work. I guarantee you, man, we go to a happy hour, they a whole different person. Like you, like you would never even known. But it is like a respect versus love thing that kind of like contradict.
They don't want to see you hurt.
Who love you.
Right. The ones who love you don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you somewhere subconscious.
They don't see you fail, yeah.
Right. They want to be that safety net. They don't want to, okay, you're out there, and they don't want to see subconscious.
There's like some of those people at the same time, like now after that they don't respect you, like how Jill was saying, once you actually do what they were trying to put you down for, now they have hate for you or envy for you.
You think they have hate, or okay, I think they have hate if they never was there for you anyway. But once you introduce it, they end up coming back. Well, we knew you was going to do that.
No,
I remember I told you to do that thing, man.
Right.
I'm thinking that like, in the
I told you to do that rap thing.
I'm really thinking that in the beginning, they all like people that have a hateful attitude in the beginning. I feel like they've been hating since then.
Right. They never was on your side anyway. But people who
people that's for you, they're gonna be for you the entire time.
Right.
So that's why I say like you do what you want to do and become successful at it regardless. Like why care about what anybody has to say? Because that same person that may have told you don't do it, like if someone would have told the one person, you know, oh, don't start a company business, it's not for this and that, and then she does it and becomes a billionaire, I promise they're gonna be one of the people coming back like, yeah, I'm here for you. It's like you can always start from very little. Innovation is key. It's a very huge thing.
And now we're almost at the end. So the last section, reversal of perspective. So I have a few things highlighted in here. And then we're wrapping up with me, and then I'll let you all choose what you all have highlighted. Mine is I have people are self-sufficient. People who are self-sufficient are generally types who are more comfortable with themselves. So people who are always they're comfortable, they don't care what anybody says. The needy, clingy types are often most sociable, unconsciously pushed away. So you're trying to get people to the ones who are clingy, they're trying to get people to always look at me, look at me. And then those who are self-reliant turn to people out of strength. So basically, the people who are self-sufficient and self-reliant, when we turn to people, we're more interdependent, and we're looking for people more of a camaraderie, for strength, looking for those people to work with us, to nudge us to move. So strong people need to be nudged too, and self-reliant people need to be nudged too, unless you wake up and read your personal mission statement every morning. I don't do it every morning. Have you all revisited your personal mission statement? Or do you need to rewrite your personal mission statement?
Yeah, I think that's something that like, it's kind of like a work that's always evolving. Mm-hmm. Like my mission statement when I was 18, not the same as it was 2 years ago, or even today, or what it's going to be in a couple years or whatever. But it's just, I mean, of course you need like that nudge or whatever. I guess that's why people have trainers. That's why they have workout partners, you know, like to actually, they want to be held accountable. You know what I mean? So that actually like gives you motivation. Because not only you're not letting yourself down, you're letting this other person down too, who's actually on the same track and trying to get you there as well. And trying to, you're their motivation as well, you know?
I don't have a very like a specific mission statement. When I wake up, like part of my alarm, there's an app you can download to where your alarm goes off and wakes you up. There's gonna be a huge positive statement right there on your phone in front of you, and it's telling you different things positive every day to keep your mind feeling that way. Just like never giving up, you can do it. It's called push forward, or they'll say certain quotes about people.
There's positive affirmations.
Those are affirmations, right? But when I look at a mission statement, I know I'm going to reach this specific goal within 5 to 10 years. And if somebody comes and asks me to do something else, and if it's not, that activity is not part of my mission statement, it brings me back on track. And it's okay, no, that's not part of my mission statement, so I'm not going to even entertain that particular activity. That's what a mission, it keeps you on target, because you always feel like when you have a football player with the helmet on, you have the blinders on the side that allows you to focus on where you need to go. That's what the mission statement. Anything else you all? Because we're wrapping up. I'm finished.
Let me see what I have underlined on the last page.
One thing also I highlighted on page 68, things that come easy and fast will leave just as fast.
Never mind.
Oh, that's what you. But where did you come from there? What did you get out of that?
I don't want to know more. No.
Out of that?
You have to work at what you're wanting. Thing isn't easy. Like just how people think that things are just get rich quick. It's not get rich quick. You have to work at it.
Right.
If not, it's gonna be gone. It's almost like how I feel like when people like in relationship, people think, oh well, I got with this person because they cheated on their other person, but they're not gonna do it to me. It's like it's backwards thinking. You're not gonna stay where you're at if it was easy.
Anything in closing? So how do you all like chapter 3? Chapter 2.
It's a nice chapter. I'm pretty sure like all these chapters go build on top of each other.
I like the step that it says to bring yourself back, to make sure you're keeping on task, basically. Telling you to keep on task, moving forward on what you want to, wherever you're working at, make sure that particular job that you're working at allows you to do an activity that's going to end up allowing you to add on to your personal mission statement. I'll look at it like that.
Yeah, that's basically what I got from it. Like you working a job for money, you working for the wrong reason.
Right.
Like getting experiences of getting your mind straight, getting mentally prepared for what may have to come in the future.
So
just get more than just money from the jobs that you work in.
Right.
Basically.
Thank you all for still joining us. Next time we're going to cover chapter 3. Karen, I'm not going to curse. Can I curse with you all?
You can say shit on
you talking about shit, Mom?
It said chapter 3 is turning shit into sugar. Opportunity. So we're going to read that chapter and we're reviewing that chapter. So thank you all again for joining us on our wonderful book review as a family and friends, because next week we'll have some. So here we go. Royalty. Thank you. Mwah.
Mwah.
Waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reasons. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know,